The trial of Dany Snow has ended today. He was convicted and sentenced to 5 years at hard labor at the state's road crew facility. He will be spending the next few years in a state-issued orange jumpsuit. Further appeals were denied without his lawyer present. This brings to a close a very sour note in our community. His conviction should serve as a warning to others who feel they have the same rights as white citizens in DeKalb Estates. After sentencing, he was transported under heavy guard to a waiting prison bus. County sheriffs who escorted him assured the colored community that his safety will be protected. Statistics show that fewer than 50% of those sent to a correctional facility for more than 3 years suffer from severe injuries sustained while completing their sentences. 50% never return. For a look back at the history of penal worker programs, here's an insight with Kim Burrows.
Thank you, Dan. Our present-day system is intact because of our state road crews. This keeps those people who are a front of society apart from those who live, work, and coexist with one another peacefully. During its peak time, our economic base was floating high because of the labor we turned into profit. Our roads, our sewers, our parks, our recreational facilities have all grown because of the good hard use of labor.
Georgia and the rest of the South relies heavily on the penal labor pool for jobs that require hard labor. But with emancipation and the passage of the 13th Amendment, slavery as our institution and a form of labor became illegal. After the Civil War, we had a difficult time finding and maintaining a reliable labor force.
Some Georgians saw the prisoners at the state penitentiary as a solution to our problems, a workforce that can be firmly controlled. Georgia's leaders were also concerned about the cost associated with operating a penitentiary, as the prison population increased and included many more colored folk. For a solution to this problem, officials began the leasing of prisoners to private citizens.
Provisional Governor Thomas Rugger awarded the first convict lease to William A. Fort of the Georgia and Alabama Railroad on May 11, 1868. Fort was given 100 colored prison laborers for 1 year at the price of $2,500. Fort was responsible for taking care of the prisoners' basic needs during the year that they were in his possession. 16 prisoners died during the first year while working for private entities. Within years, convict leasing was a major source of revenue for the state.
There were attempts to reform the system of convict labor in Georgia, although such efforts were never successful, in part because of public outcry. In 1881, legislature endorsed the harsh treatment of prisoners by men known as whipping bosses. O.H. Sheffield, a civil engineer from the University of Georgia, endorsed the utilization of convict labor on state roads. In 1903, legislature gave the counties opportunity to use felons who were serving less than 5-year sentences on road work projects.
When convict leasing was halted, they began the use of roadside chain gangs. The chain gang system worked for prisoners who were repaying their debts to society through labor on public projects. The chain gang system has lasted now for several decades. Our society has prospered tremendously from this achievement. Back to you in the newsroom. This is Kim Burrows for Channel 4 News at 7.
Now, in a related story, the governor of Georgia is just one of many public officials and private citizens that feel it is absurd for public roads to suffer while convicted men serve lenient sentences. Today, the governor repeatedly slammed the prison system, which only makes the convicts work an 8-hour day instead of his proposed 10-hour shift. The governor is proposing new and more demanding sentences for those convicted of crimes against society, and that they should work the total of their sentences, fulfilling the needs of society. The governor and others are infuriated by the poor conditions of the interstate highways and surface roads here in Georgia. The labor pool is drawn from correctional facilities statewide using criminals serving misdemeanor sentences. Prison officials today defended their actions, stating that their prisoners are already overworked by heavy demands in rural areas. They also stress a tighter fiscal budget, which has cut spending for new officers and guards. Prison Warden Lemke also stated safety issues, citing the rise in attempted escapes by inmates after nightfall. He also warned that with fewer and fewer officers guarding the inmates, there is a greater risk of violence and rioting. Thank you for watching the Channel 4 News at 7. Good evening, and may God bless you.